Hello, I'm the Reddit man, the stylin', profilin', limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheelin' and dealin' son of a gun, here to give you the Reddit stories you need. Shall we start? You're laying in bed home alone at 3 AM. What sound would be the scariest thing to hear at that time? Well, I'm deaf, and at that point the hearing aids are out, so the answer is yes, anything I could possibly hear. That'd be a plot twist. Almost sounds like a r/novelette story. I've been deaf for a long time. Last night I heard for the first time in years. I wish I didn't. Dude, I remember it was around 1:00 just last week I heard some rummaging under my ducking bed. I looked down, and my backpack was legit moving, as if a small animal were tugging at it. Thing is, that's completely understandable, because we have a rat problem, but rats never go in my room. I looked down under, and smacked the backpack and nothing came of it. Total dead silence. I live in a dense city. Even at 3 AM, there's always the sound of traffic, of nearby air conditioners, people headed home from the casinos. If I hear complete true silence, a hell of a lot of people are dead. A similar occurrence happened to us, except it was pouring rain at the time. It was in Houston in 2001 during Tropical Storm Allison. It had been raining constantly since about 6 PM at the rate of around 3 inches per hour. It's now around 1 AM. Wife and I are watching local news when they break in that they are going off the air because the station is flooding and they have to evacuate. Water is rising at the street, so we start gathering clothes and supplies in garbage bags. Maybe a half hour later, the lights start dimming, really slowly dimming, like nothing I've ever seen before or since. After a minute or so, that seemed like an hour, the power was gone. Total black everywhere. No lights could be seen anywhere, but the sound of that torrential rain continued. It was raining as hard as I had ever seen it rain. For 8 hours, and it wasn't slowing down. Now it was pitch black. It was terrifying. We ended up getting around 35 inches of rain in a 12-hour period, but incredibly we did not flood. Many others were not as fortunate. I hear when a tornado is close, that it sounds like a freight train. That would be pretty ducking scary sound to wake up to. I've been in this exact situation not once, but 3 times as a kid. Woke up in the middle of the night to a loud rumbling and whistling sound, very much like a freight train that was blowing one of those old steam powered whistles. Anyhow, I got up and looked outside just in time to see a tornado coming straight for the house. Luckily, my parents' house sits in a bit of a valley, which caused the tornado to jump over the house. It ended seriously damaging everything on the higher ground in front of and behind the house. Similar story the other 2 times it happened. On an interesting side note, the unique geography of my parents' property makes it to where it can be completely calm and windless there, while gale force winds blow not, but a quarter mile down the road. Edit. Since further description of the topography seems to be a hot request, here you go. It's a bit odd to describe, but basically the house sits close to the bottom of a hill, which has an elevation of probably 150 feet at the top. Before you reach the bottom of this hill, it levels out somewhat and there is a street with a few houses on it. My parents' house is on this street and faces a hill. To the rear of the house, the geography slops down and bottoms out. From there, the geography slopes back upward and exceeds the elevation of the house. It does this on both the right and left sides as well. Basically, think of the topography as a very poorly shaped bowl, where the house sits on the inner side of it. I'm sure it also helps that the typical weather patterns mean that storm fronts approach from the far side of the hill. Edit 2. For those asking, my parents' house is in Tennessee, just outside Nashville. If memory serves correctly, these incidents occurred in the mid to late 2000s. For whatever reason, we had a lot of tornadic activity around that time, 2 of which caused significant damage to nearby cities, as well as several deaths. The most notable being the tornadoes that hit Gallatin, Tennessee in 2006 as part of the April 2006 tornado outbreak, which produced a whopping 73 tornadoes in the span of 2 days. The damage was severe enough that President Bush actually made a visit to tour the area. I still remember my mom pulling us outside to watch Marine One and the presidential helicopter fleet fly overhead. They still have tornadoes once or twice a year there, but not like they used to. The muffled sound of Michael Jackson going hee hee. Laughs in Aowoki. Glass breaking. Someone is coming in. Bargord. It's stone cold. It's stone cold. The sound of mosquito flying towards you. You can't run or hide, but you slowly get out of bed to avoid being bitten. You creep to the other side of the room to turn on the light, as once you can see, you can locate the mosquito and kill it. The light flickers on, but the mosquito isn't there. It will never be there until you turn off the lights, as surely it was all in your head, and tuck yourself snugly into bed until you can once again hear the low and agitating humming of the blood-sucking bug's wings as it starts to come towards you again. Did you just make mosquitoes scary? Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also ring the bell to be notified of new uploads.